Hello and good dag, minovaner. I'm Peter and here I'm telling you stories about the most interesting European cars of the 80s and 90s. Here is the question: what do Fiat, Saab, Lancia and Alfa Romeo have in common? And the answer is the Type 4 platform that was developed in the beginning of the 80s and gave life to Fiat Croma, Lancia Thema, Alfa Romeo 164 and the hero of today's video, Saab 9000. At the beginning of the 80s, the Swedish automaker Saab, more accurately Saab Scania at that time, produced basically only two cars, a very outdated small Saab 99 and a very good and interesting Saab 900, which we speak about someday in the future. And there was a short period between 1980 and 82 when they also sold Saab 600, which was just Lancia Delta with a different name. But they wanted more. Despite the partnership with a large truck maker Scania and being a daughter company of a large aircraft builder, the automotive division of Saab was rather small and it was difficult for them to develop their own car from scratch. So they partnered with Fiat Group. As a result, Fiat got some help with the development of their cars, including the same Lancia Delta, and Saab received a platform for a completely new mid-sized car, which was named Saab 9000. The production of Saab 9000 started at the end of 1984 and continued until 1998 with some updates. The first available version was called Saab 9000 Turbo 16 and was a 5-door hatchback, or as Saab called it, a combi coupe. This definition was made up by Saab, who for any reason didn't want to call the car hatchback or liftback, and was used first for Saab 900. And then it came to Saab 9002, despite the fact that Saab 9000 never was a coupe. Anyway, this combi coupe name transferred to the model name CC, and the 9000s in that body are known as Saab 9000cc. The body, by the way, was designed by Giorgetto Giugiaro, the same guy who designed Lancia Delta and Volkswagen Golf, together with Saab designer Björn Envall, the designer of Saab 900 and Saab 99. The car at the launch had a 5-speed manual transmission and only one 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbo engine with 16 valves. This engine was first used in Saab 900 and was based on a heavily modified Triumph engine developed in 1968, but it was capable to produce 173 horsepower and bring a car to a top speed of 220 km per hour or 137 miles per hour, with 0 to 60 miles per hour in 8.3 seconds, a perfect result for 1984. Despite some popular rumors, the aerodynamics of the 9000 was actually very good for that time, with a drag coefficient of 0.34, the same that Ferrari 40 had. The car was positioned as a prestige executive car, what we now call E-Class, and directly and successfully competed with 5 Series BMW, first E28 then E34, and Mercedes Benz W124. Saab 9000 was even awarded Best Prestige Car of 1985 by the French magazine L'Action Automobile. At the end of 1985, Saab 9000 was brought to the United States. And here Saab did a very interesting marketing move to show the reliability of their cars to the American public. Do you remember endurance races like 24 Hours of Le Mans? Well, forget it. Saab put 3 cars on Alabama International Motor Speedway at Talladega for 20 days and 20 nights in a row. And all these 3 cars successfully finished 20 days later, making 100,000 kilometers or 62,000 miles each, with the lead car breaking 21 international and 2 world speed records in the process. How cool is that? The same year, a 4-speed automatic gearbox was launched. Not the best one, but not the worst for this time. Anyway, the best performance versions of the 9000s were always with manual transmission. The next year, 1987, Saab launched a sedan version of the 9000 with the model index CD, standing for, you'll never guess, Corps Diplomatique. This instantly showed the target audience of the car: diplomats and corporate executives. The sedan version of Saab 9000 was positioned higher than the hatchback and was actually very different. The rear seats were moved to the back, giving even more space for rear seat passengers. The rear seat itself was now not folding, but more comfortable. The trunk space was decreased, but Saab's approach was that this car is for city driving of an executive with a chauffeur, and you usually don't need to put much luggage into the trunk in this situation. Also, the front of the car received a new look, more aerodynamic and modern. By the way, the hatchback version wasn't facelifted until 1990. The engine was the same, but it received a direct ignition system based on the capacitor discharge principle. This allowed to slightly increase the power by 3 horsepower and make the engine run smoother and more responsive. In 1988, all versions of the 9000 received a trip computer with a Saab information display, which became a standard distinctive feature for all Saabs since that time. And for 1988 it was a big deal, particularly considering that the competitors even didn't have trip computers, or had very limited ones. In 1990, a new 2.3-liter inline-4 engine appeared, and a very good one. In naturally aspirated versions, it produced 145 horsepower and gave the car a top speed of 205 km per hour or 127 miles per hour with 0 to 60 in 10.5 seconds. But in a turbo version, it produced already 192 horsepower, and the car could make 230 km per hour or 146 miles per hour with 0 to 60 miles per hour in 8 seconds. And this engine also had 2 balancing shafts, giving it smoother running with fewer vibrations. The same engine with a bigger turbine on special versions of 9000, Clarkson, Talladega and Aero produced up to 222 horsepower with a top speed of 250 km per hour or 155 miles per hour and 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.7 seconds for Aero and 7.4 for others. And this engine had a huge reserve. Many car enthusiasts installed special tuning kits and high-performance turbo kits, and some of them was officially approved by Saab. Some of these modified cars could reach 350 horsepower and more, and this was not the final limit of the engine. This was a very capable and reliable engine. At the end of 1991, the CC hatchback was updated and basically replaced with a new liftback body, which was called CS, standing for another weird definition, combi sedan. It basically received a look of the sedan version. And the next year the model range was slightly reviewed again and was separated into 2 parts. The first one, CS liftback and CD sedan, were basic trim levels, but still were better equipped than many BMWs and Mercedes Benzes of the time. The second part, CSE liftback and CDE sedan, had almost all available options factory pre-installed. An interesting fact, both trim ranges were available with almost any engine. So you could have a basic level car with the most powerful 220 horsepower engine. Or you could have a very rich Saab with a slow engine, but I don't know why you would need this. In 1994 the 2.3-liter engine was mechanically updated. A so-called long block was replaced by a short block, which basically didn't change the performance. And the next year, 1995, a completely new engine was introduced, a 3-liter turbocharged V6, which Saab received from General Motors, who bought half of Saab company from Scania 6 years earlier. This engine produced 207 horsepower, with a top speed of 230 km per hour or 143 miles per hour, and 0 to 60 miles per hour in 8 seconds. This engine was discontinued in the US just after 1 year, but sold in Europe for a couple of years more. Owners usually describe Saab 9000 as an airplane. You press the pedal and it starts to accelerate, as if it's going to take off right now. An incredible acceleration, very comfortable seats, very convenient driving controls, and a lot of room both on front seats and in the rear. They were very reliable cars that could make 300,000 or 400,000 miles and more without an engine rebuilding. In acceleration on a straight line, it was essentially faster than BMW and Mercedes Benz of that time, but in corners the handling was not so great. This car with its front-wheel drive didn't like to turn. It turned, but not as sharp as its German rear-wheel drive competitors. The brakes were also not the best in the world, but the overall driving impression was in general positive, particularly for high-performance versions of the Saab 9000. Now I should mention the special versions of Saab 9000, because these are the ones that are the most interesting for a car enthusiast. The first one, available in the UK only, was called Carlson, after legendary Swedish rally racer Erik Carlson, who won a lot of prizes for Saab in the 60s. In other countries, almost the same Saabs were sold under the name Talladega, in honor of the famous 20 days endurance race. These cars produced from 192 to 201 horsepower in 1988-1990 with a 2-liter engine, and 217 horsepower in 1992 with a 2.3-liter engine. A special series available for the sedan only, Griffin, was sold in a limited edition in 1992 and then in 1995 to 1997. It was packed with all available luxury options and was paired with a 2.3-liter turbo engine for 1992 or with a turbo V6 3-liter engine for 1995-1997. The latter model was available with automatic transmission only and had some special features like a second air conditioning unit for the rear seat only, installed in the trunk. And of course probably the most famous and definitely the most powerful version of Saab 9000 was Aero, which was introduced in 1992 for the CS liftback only. It had an exclusive interior and a sportish exterior, and the manual version was equipped with a bigger turbocharger that increased the power of the 2.3-liter engine up to 222 horsepower with 342 Nm or 252 foot-pounds, accelerating the car to a top speed of 250 km per hour or 155 miles per hour, with 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 6.7 seconds. The Saab Aero commercial claimed that, quote, the 5-speed Saab 9000 Aero will streak from 50 to 75 miles per hour faster than a Ferrari Testarossa or a Porsche Carrera 4, unquote. Automatic transmission was also available for the Aero, but this car were available with a small turbocharger only to save the gearbox, and the power was only 197 horsepower. Not bad anyway, but much worse than for the manual car. Also, there was a special version of 9000 Aero for Italy with a 2.0-liter engine because of specific tax restrictions on engines over 2 liters acting in Italy at the time. These cars have the same appearance as the 2.3-liter Aeros, but only had 185 horsepower, still more than Alfa Romeo 164, but less than Lancia Thema with comparable engines. So beware of buying the Saab 9000 Aero from Italy. In total, just over 503,000 Saab 9000s were produced in 14 years of manufacturing, before the successor Saab 95 was introduced. Many of them were exported to the United States, and some are still on the road here. But there are much more of them in Europe, of course. And the reason why you could probably consider buying Saab 9000 from Europe is the availability of special versions. Aero with manual transmission first of all, then Talladega, Carlson and Griffin. There are not so many Aeros that you can buy in the US nowadays, particularly manual ones. I tried to find one, but failed. By the way, I'm restoring a 2006 Saab 93 Aero right now, so I have some kind of special connection to the brand. In Europe, you can buy a Saab 9000 Aero manual for just 3 to 7,000 euro, depending on the condition and mileage. Talladega and Carlson are more rare animals, and you are looking probably at 10 to 15,000 euros, maybe 20 for a car in very good condition with low miles. But it's not that easy to find. Most of the cars on sale have a so-so condition with 200-300,000 miles, and I mean miles, not kilometers, because these cars usually were used as inexpensive and very reliable daily drivers. Good examples are set to grow in price, because they are becoming rare. But you still can catch them relatively cheap within the nearest couple of years, not more. And the good news, I can help you with this if you want. We can help you to find the car, negotiate the price, formalize the sale, ship the car to the United States and help you to import it properly and to deal with all legal paperwork. We have a network of partners in Europe who can find cars that are not listed on the internet, inspect them properly, and organize shipping and everything else. This is not only for Saab, of course. We can find virtually any 80s, 90s or 70s car in Europe for you and bring it to the United States. And if you are watching this video from any other country, we can find a cool American car for you in the US and ship it to your country. The link to our website with all details is in the description below. Well, thank you very much for watching. So, what are your thoughts about Saab 9000? Or maybe you have experience with driving one? Tell me please about this in the comments below. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Tack så mycket mina vänner, and see you next time.